Think about what a secret really is. It is information you possess that others do not. It is a gap between what you know and what you show. And that gap is a tool. It can protect you. It can elevate you. It can also destroy you. The ability to hold information inside your head, to control when and how it is released, is one of the most powerful cognitive abilities your species ever evolved. It is the foundation of politics, trade, and personal identity. But where did it come from? When did the first human look at a piece of knowledge and decide to keep it to themselves? To answer that, you have to go back to a time before language was complex. A time when your ancestors lived in small bands of perhaps 30 to 50 individuals. In those bands, everyone knew everyone. There were no strangers. There were no private rooms. There was no privacy at all. Every meal was shared. Every tool was borrowed. Every injury was examined by the whole group. In that world, how could anyone hide anything? The answer is that they could not. Not at first. Early human life was brutally transparent. Your ancestors slept in a tight circle around the fire. They ate from a common pot. They groomed each other's hair and picked insects from each other's skin. There was no place to hide a wound, a fear, or a piece of food. This transparency was a survival strategy. It built trust. It prevented cheating. It made sure that no one was secretly hoarding resources while others starved, but it also created a problem. It made it impossible to plan anything in secret. And planning in secret is sometimes essential for survival. Consider a simple scenario. You are a hunter. You have spotted a herd of deer in a hidden valley. If you tell the whole tribe, everyone will rush to the valley. The deer will scatter. No one will eat. But if you tell only your closest ally, the two of you can plan a careful, coordinated hunt. You can approach the herd silently. You can take down one deer without spooking the rest. Then you can share the meat with the whole tribe, and everyone benefits. But you have to keep the location a secret first. You have to hide information from your own people to feed them. This is the paradox at the heart of secrecy. It is antisocial, yet it serves the social good. It is selfish, yet it enables generosity. The ability to hold a secret is the ability to control the flow of information, and controlling information is the root of all power. Researchers have studied this paradox for decades. One of the most important figures is Robin Dunbar, an evolutionary psychologist at the University of Oxford. Dunbar is famous for his work on social groups and the size of the human brain. He proposed that the human brain evolved to handle a certain number of social relationships, roughly 150. This number, known as Dunbar's number, is the maximum number of people you can know personally and maintain a stable relationship with. But Dunbar also studied something else. He studied gossip. He found that gossip is not just idle talk. It is a tool for sharing and withholding information. It is a way of building alliances and managing reputations. And it is deeply tied to the evolution of secrecy. Think about what gossip is. It is the exchange of information about other people. It is a way of saying, I know something you do not, and that knowledge is power. The person who knows the most gossip is the most socially connected. The person who can keep a secret is the most trusted. Both skills require the same underlying ability, the ability to hold information in your mind and decide when to release it. But gossip is a modern luxury. It requires complex language. It requires the ability to talk about things that are not present. It requires what psychologists call theory of mind, the ability to understand that other people have thoughts and feelings different from your own. When did your ancestors develop this ability? And when did they start using it to hide information? Archaeology gives us some clues. At the site of Dolní Věstonice in the Czech Republic, researchers found a settlement dating back about 25,000 years. The site is famous for its ceramic figurines, including the oldest known ceramic sculpture in the world. But it also contains something more subtle. It contains evidence of hidden caches. Archaeologists found small pits dug into the floors of the huts, filled with carefully selected stones, bones, and pigments. These were not trash pits. They were deliberately hidden stores. Someone had collected these objects and buried them, covering them with dirt and ash. Why would you hide a collection of stones? Unless those stones had meaning. Unless they were a form of private knowledge. This is a crucial moment in human history. It is the first evidence of someone deliberately hiding something from their own group. It is the birth of the secret. But hiding a physical object is not the same as hiding a thought. To hide a thought, you need to control your face, your voice, and your body. You need to lie. And lying is a complex cognitive skill. It requires you to hold two conflicting pieces of information in your mind at the same time. You must know the truth, and you must also know the lie, and you must keep them separate. This is a heavy cognitive load. It is so difficult that many animals cannot do it. Only a few species, like great apes and corvids, show signs of tactical deception. Your ancestors developed this ability over millions of years. It started with simple acts of hiding food. A chimp hides a fruit from a rival. A raven hides a piece of meat from the flock. These are the first secrets. They are not social. They are purely selfish. But they are the foundation. They are the first step toward the complex social secrecy that defines your life today. So when did the first human look at a piece of knowledge and decide to keep it hidden? The answer is probably much earlier than you think. It is probably tied to the development of language itself. Language is a tool for sharing information, but it is also a tool for hiding it. You can use words to tell the truth, or you can use words to tell a lie. The same tool that builds trust can also break it. And the ability to use that tool both ways is the essence of secrecy. Language gave your ancestors a new kind of power. The power to say one thing and mean another. The power to create a story that was not true. And the power to keep a story inside your head, never letting it out. This was the birth of the private self, the inner world that no one else could see. Before language, your thoughts were probably simple and immediate. You saw a berry, you ate it. You felt cold, you moved closer to the fire. But with language, you could think about things that were not present. You could plan for tomorrow. You could remember yesterday. And you could choose not to share those thoughts. This inner world was a new frontier. It was a space where no one could follow, and your ancestors quickly learned that this space was valuable. It was a place to store fears, hopes, and plans. It was a place to hold a grudge. It was a place to nurse an ambition, and it was a place to hide a mistake. The ability to keep a mistake hidden was crucial. In a small band, a mistake could cost you your reputation, and your reputation was your life. If the group lost trust in you, you might be excluded from the hunt. You might be denied a share of the meat. You might be left behind. So the ability to hide a mistake, to keep it from the group, was a survival skill. Archaeologists have found evidence of this early secrecy in the way ancient people buried their dead. At the site of Sungir in Russia, dating back about 30,000 years, researchers found the remains of an older man and 2 children. They were buried with extraordinary grave goods. Thousands of ivory beads, carved from mammoth tusks, had been sewn onto their clothing. The beads were tiny, each one requiring hours of careful work. This was a massive investment of labor and resources. Why would a small band of hunter-gatherers spend so much effort on a burial? One theory is that it was a public display, a way of showing the group's wealth and status. But another theory is that it was a private message, a message to the ancestors, a message that only the living and the dead could understand. The burial was a secret shared between the band and their departed members. This is the deeper function of secrecy. It is not just about hiding from enemies. It is about creating a shared understanding. A secret can be a bond between 2 people. It can be a mark of trust. When you tell someone a secret, you are saying, "I trust you more than anyone else." And that trust is the glue of human society. Researchers have studied this bonding function of secrets. One of the most important is the anthropologist Polly Wiesner. She spent years living with the Kung people of the Kalahari Desert. She observed how they used gossip and storytelling to maintain social bonds. Wiesner found that the Kung spent hours each evening sitting around the fire, telling stories and sharing news. This was not just entertainment. It was a way of reinforcing social norms. It was a way of saying, "This is what we value." And it was a way of managing secrets. Some stories were told openly. Others were whispered. The whispered stories were the ones that carried the most weight. They were the ones that could change a person's reputation. So the secret is not just a tool of the individual. It is a tool of the group. It is a way of creating in-groups and out-groups. The people who share a secret are in. The people who do not are out. This is the origin of cliques, of clubs, of secret societies. It is the origin of the phrase, "you had to be there." And it is the origin of the feeling you get when you are excluded from a joke. That feeling is not just social discomfort. It is an ancient alarm. It is your brain telling you that you are on the outside of a group, and being on the outside is dangerous. Think about your own life. You have secrets. Some are small. You hide a snack from your partner. You hide a purchase from your friend. Some are large. You hide a fear. You hide a failure. You hide a part of yourself that you are ashamed of. Why do you hide them? Because you are afraid of judgment. You are afraid of losing status. You are afraid of being excluded. These fears are not modern. They are ancient. They are the same fears that drove your ancestors to bury their mistakes and hide their plans. But there is a cost to secrecy. It is heavy. It is a weight you carry in your chest. It can make you feel isolated. It can make you feel like you are living a double life. And this is the paradox of the secret. It protects you, but it also isolates you. It gives you power, but it also gives you anxiety. The same instinct that kept your ancestors safe in a small band now keeps you awake at night. So what is the secret of the secret? It is this. The ability to hide information is one of the most powerful tools you have. It is the root of your social intelligence. It is the foundation of your personal identity, but it is also a burden. And the key to using it well is balance. You must know when to hide, and you must know when to share, because a secret that is never shared is a prison, and a secret that is shared too freely is a weapon that can be turned against you. You still have a secret. It sits in your chest, a small, warm stone. But now you know where it came from. It came from a time when hiding a thought was the difference between life and death. It came from a time when the inner world was a new frontier. And it came from a time when your ancestors looked at each other and decided that some things were better left unsaid. That is the first secret, and it is still yours.